Hey folks, this is Matt once again, coming at you with another review. This is thanks to Lane, who sent me quite a few DVDs, including this one, Dead Ringers. And he said he was going to send me some David Cronenberg stuff because I was on the Sausage Factory. And during the Sausage Factory, we had talked about, on one of the episodes, talked a bit about David Cronenberg films, and I had never seen this film, which of course is Dead Ringers. Now, Dead Ringers is a film that stars Jeremy Irons. I must say, he did a really good job with it. He did a very excellent job with it. His role. I didn't say he was really good. And the film, I wouldn't call this a horror film. I definitely would not call this a thriller. I'd call this more of a drama, to be honest. I know it don't sound weird, but I would really put this in a drama section. Drama, tragedy, that type of thing. Because Jeremy Irons plays two roles, identical twins, who, when they're young, you tell that they're a little bit off because they're talking about, one's talking to the other about sex, and that the reason about that if we lived underwater, we wouldn't have to worry about sex because fish, do this to the eggs, and they talk to this little girl, and she's like pretty much tells him to fuck off and goes, "You probably don't even know what the word fuck means, do you?" One's like, wow, okay, I didn't expect that from the little girl's mouth. But these two grow up, and as they're students, they come up with this new medical instrument, surgical instrument, and they get famous for that. And to the day that the film takes place in, they are gynecologists, and they have their own center. They're very, I would say they're wealthy. They have it all, and they pretty much share everything. They share in a place to live together, but they also share women. Because you have this girl played by Genevieve Bejeweled, who is a movie star, and she comes in to be checked up because she wants to be pregnant, but she finds out that she can't be. And the two twins, they're identical. It's not the one's evil, one's good. It's more, one's a little bit more shy, one's a little bit more aggressive, but they're both still human beings. It's not like clear cut good and evil. Just one's a little bit more confident and um, I don't know. I guess you could say aggressive, and one is more shy, introverted, wants to stay home, and that's pretty much it. So when the one who's confident has a woman, if he's done with her, he'll give it to his brother, but the woman doesn't know it. Only this time, the shy one, who his name is Beverly, and the more confident one is named Ellie, or Elliot. Beverly, he starts falling in love with this woman. And one thing leads to another. She finds out what's going on. She doesn't want anything to do with them. Beverly is hurt about that. And because this is sort of a new thing for him, falling in love. And amidst all this, wants to get her back, kind of gets back with her, but then is also introduced to drugs, pills, things like that, and he can't really handle it. Because the thing is with these brothers, these brothers, there was a, I don't know, it's not on the DVD, it must have been on the poster, because it talked about like two bodies, two minds, but one soul. And I don't mean that a sci-fi way or anything, more of a psychological way where one doesn't feel complete unless there's the other. They keep saying throughout the film that no one can tell us apart, so without him, I'm nothing, or so on and so forth. And so there's a certain dependency that they have on each other that's really that's too strong or too thick or too entangled in a way, because the shy one, Beverly, he gets dependent on drugs. Just they don't know much about being an individual. That's the thing. They don't know much about individuality. So here's the shy one's taste at individuality, that he's going to love this woman. He wants this woman to himself. He's going to do drugs because he's never done before. He gets hooked on pills. He's not doing well in his job now. He's being more dependent on them. And then starts having these weird dreams. Like, you have this weird dream that's definitely Cronenberg, that he's with the woman, and then there's his brother, and they're like Siamese, they're attached, and she goes down and bites it off to cut him away, and that's his dream. Oh shit. And you get the idea that he wants to be an individual. But then unfortunately he falls into the drugs, and he starts thinking about, needing to separate the twins. Creates these new tools that they don't want us to use these tools, and fuck them, and crafts these new tools, but it's in his drug crazed mind. So there's a moment where he's doped up, but he's doing surgery. He could have killed the woman though. His other brother tries to smooth things out. That's not going on, so their career is kind of slowly going down. But then the other brother, who's the more confident one, he's not knowing how to handle this, so he's like, I gotta synchronize with them. Which is a very stupid idea, I must admit. It's a really stupid fucking idea, but this is what they did for being stupid in that. He decides to take pills so that he can be on the same level as his brother, which I'm like, that's clearly the wrong way to do, dude. But, I mean, you're a gynecologist, you're supposed to be a genius, but again, that's this sort of, I guess, weird relationship, I guess you could call it, where one, he wants to be on his level, which again, that's something I really understand. I'm sure someone will explain it much, much better. But I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you taking pills when you're trying to detox this guy? You're trying to detox this guy, but then you go, okay, take these pills instead, and just really, that part was confusing to me. Of course, one woman says the same thing I was saying, and he starts talking about how need to synchronize with each other. If we're on the same level, then it'll be okay. Which is, I guess that's the point, that it's not the right choice, obviously, because it gets to a point where the shy one, he goes out to see that, because for a good portion, the movie star goes off to film a movie, and this is when the shy one is really hitting the fan, because he's missing her. Then he thinks the woman cheated on him, which is not the case, and so he slips more in the drugs. But then he finds out that she's back and she didn't do that, so he goes over, and then it cuts away, and you realize it's a week later, and the guy is much better. So, in a way, that's what he should have done. If he learned more to be an individual, maybe earlier in his life, and learn how to handle these things that maybe he didn't experience before, more experience with it, and wasn't so dependent on his brother, if he had more of an individuality, maybe things would have gone better. And maybe that goes with his brother as well. Because when he's with this woman for the week, he looks much better. And she's talking about, what are these tools? Like, what tools? And those are the tools that he did. And he looks at them and goes, is to separate Siamese twins. And you sort of look at them like, I thought of that? I thought of that? Then as it goes on, let's see, how is it? Yeah, how do you way? He comes back and finds out that his brother, the confident one, has torn up the entire apartment and says hi to his brother. Then it cuts, and then you get the idea now both of them are back into drugs, and they're both drugged up to be synchronized with each other. So both heavily drugged up, and there's this story they've always remember about these Siamese twins who were connected to their chest, and they had to separate each other. And of course, in their drugged haze mind, the confident one lays down, and the other one is disconnecting the twins. But of course, later he wakes up and realizes now he's not quite in his drug haze state. He's oh, I had a horrible dream. He find out that his brother is dead now. Cut him right there, and he realizes, and he's like, oh my god. And you get the idea that he goes outside, goes to her phone, tries to call a girl, doesn't say anything, goes back, and it goes back to that story they were talking about these Siamese twins, how one died of a stroke or something, and the other died of fright. Which I've heard that story before. I've heard that story. And so the last shot is the one who was cut open. Apparently he was dragged and put on the ground, and the other, the shy one, Beverly, he's huddled near him, and I guess he died of fright. I'm guessing. I didn't see any other wounds on him unless I missed it. And this film, I would say it's not one of my favorite David Cronenberg films. I mean, I would definitely say I like The Fly, The Dead Zone, the, Videodrome, Naked Lunch. I would say I like those films more, but I will say it was interesting. It's not quite what I thought, because it's not a horror film, it's not a thriller. Because it says here, emotional dependency collapses to mind games, madness, and murder. And for some reason, I thought it was about these guys, like one or the other. They're going to start murdering people and stuff. It's not the case at all. It's more about how these two were so dependent on each other. When one broke down, the other one is going to soon follow. And, if they learn more about being an individual, maybe, or learn more about stuff, then who knows what could have happened. But it didn't work at all. And I thought the direction was fine. Howard Shore did a really good job with the score. The acting was really good. Jeremy Irons, I thought, pulled it off very well as the two leads. Interesting concept. It's definitely a tragedy. Trying to think what more I can say about this, though. I will say, though, again, that bit of the plot that I was talking about before, I was a little bit confused. But I guess that's just because of the state of mind that they're in. They're not thinking rationally. I can't really say it's the most exciting movie. It's almost 2 hours long, and there were certain slow spots. I'm like, okay, idea where you're going at, but there were certain moments I'm kind of. It definitely doesn't have. It doesn't have the Cronenberg gross outs, except that one scene I was talking about. I mean, I guess the concept alone with them being gynecologists, but again, the only scene you actually see someone is that dream scene I was talking about. I don't remember the surgery scenes being any graphic or anything like that. Kinky sex stuff. Only one more where Jeremy Irons is tied up Genevieve Bujold and they're having sex. For that little bit of business. But I thought overall the script, this is based on a book Twins by Bari Wood and Jack Geasland. Could be wrong. And if you wanted features commentary by Jeremy Irons, a little 7-minute or so featurette from back in the day, a couple little interviews from back in the day. That's pretty much it. Jeremy Irons commentary, nothing It's nothing too much. It's because he hasn't seen the film in 12, 13 years or so. So there's a lot of pauses during the commentary track. If you're wondering, this is what the disc looks like. Overall, I would say not the most exciting film, not the most. I probably contradicted myself. When I said if I said it wasn't the most interesting, that wasn't the word I was looking for. The word I was looking for, it's not the most exciting, it's not the most fast-paced film, but it's an interesting idea. Some thought it was pretty good script, interesting concept. Jeremy Irons, they really did a good job also with the split screen effects that they use when they're both in the same frame. Couldn't tell. Like, you could really see that, oh, wow, they are twins. So the effects work in that instance worked very well. Like I said, Jeremy Irons did a good job. Genevieve Bujold, the other actors did fine. There's more more Jeremy Irons films, though. And overall, it's an interesting film. If you're a fan of Cronenberg, give it a watch. It's not one of my favorites, but not that bad of a movie. Not a bad film at all. Dead Ringers. So either way, one more thing to say. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.